morning, everybody, and welcome everybody in the audience and everybody at home. We appreciate you being here today. It is with great privilege and pleasure that I sit before you today, August 17th, this Thursday, and the time is now 10 a.m. I call the meeting to order, and we'll start the invocation with Pastor David Kimberly, followed by the pledge led by Mr. Chris.
Madam Mayor and council members and audience, I think, we all get up, we're all busy people, we're all in a hurry most of the time. Am I right? We're all that way. Sometimes we forget that laughing is probably the means to getting rid of a lot of the pent-up energies that we have. I came across something that I oftentimes visit the hospital and church members in the hospital. And I picked up one of their magazines. It's a senior adult magazine. Now, I want to share 3 little ditties with you that I call jokes. Do you know what you get from pampered cows? You know what you get from pampered cows? Spoiled milk. Do you know what you call 4 bullfighters in quicksand? Cuatro cinco. And then, do you know what you get when you have cheese that isn't yours? Nacho cheese. That brings back nostalgia, doesn't it? Going along with yesterday morning's brief devotional, talking about the value of people, I have the privilege of knowing quite a few pastors across the country, and one of them is that I've gotten to know in a kind of a distant way, and perhaps you're familiar with his name. His name is Max Lucado. Max Lucado is a Church of Christ pastor and speaker. He spoke on these, and he gave us these words. He gave me these words that in a book that he wrote called Grace for the Moment. God sees our value. Taken from 1 Samuel chapter 16, he says, God does not see the same way people see. People look at the outside of a person, but the Lord looks at the heart. Each of us value people. And the way I know that is because if you have children and grandchildren, they're of great value. Am I right? People are important. He goes on to say, God sees us with the eyes of a father. He sees our defects, errors, and blemishes. But he also sees our value. What did Jesus know that enabled him to do what he did? Here's part of the answer, Max says. He knew the value of people. He knew that each human being is a treasure. And because he did, people were not a source of stress, but a source of joy. City Council, Madam Mayor, those of you in the audience, thank you for being my joy today. I praise God for each of you. Now may I pray for you.
Yes.
Heavenly Father, I thank you for our mayor, our city council. I thank you for the people of Alice. I thank you for these who are in this room. Father, for our first responders, for our police, our firemen. Father, our EMTs. I thank you, Father, for the citizens of Alice. Father, not all of us are what many of us would call good citizens. But Father, there's still people of value because you sent your Son, Jesus, to die for each of us. We give you praise and thanks for that. May in the joy that we have of serving you, Father, and serving one another, would you help our joy to spill over to those outside this building, outside in the streets, the people who visit our city. May we be vessels that God, you would inhabit, to say to them that God cares about you. And how we do that is respecting each other and considering each other of very special value as friends, neighbors, and members of a city that we love. Help us, Father, to do our very best today to be the good citizens that you've called us to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please invite. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Pastor, for the beautiful words. Thank you, Mr. Biss. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to agenda item number 2, citizen comments and public announcements. Any citizen wishing to address the council will come up to the podium and state their name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Keep in mind that as council and mayor, we cannot answer any questions and it cannot go into discussion for legal reasons, but we can refer it to staff or commissions or boards to help us address your needs. So at this time, we would like to listen to Ms. Cynthia Trevino Garcia.
Good morning, City Council,
Good morning.
Mayor, Administration. I hate doing this, but I'm here because this is important to me. And I'm going to start off by saying, no problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. And that was a quote from Albert Einstein. I'd like to start off by saying that the landfill, San Francisco, California, has diverted 80% of its waste from the landfills through recycling and composting. I think a city of this size could also do the same thing if we took the endeavors to do it. One of the things that's created by our landfills, and I don't know if the major population knows this here in Dallas, but methane is released from the landfills. And that's 72 times more than carbon dioxide, which is harmful to us. Methane causes cancer. And we look around and we say, why is there so much cancer? I think we need to look at these things. Another issue that I have is with our water quality. Erin Brockovich, as you know, who was a great speaker and advocate of water quality in her community, is behind a lot of the things that I'm going to say here. There have been test results that reveal that from 50,000 local water utilities for about 250 million Americans, that our water is contaminated with chromium-6, which is also a carcinogen, cancer carcinogen. It's called chromium-6. I wonder if Alice has tested for chromium-6 in our water, and if so, what are we doing about it? And if so, we do have alternatives to water supply other than what we're doing now. I would like to also say that we need to, these are just some of the things that are these are non-biodegradable materials that we have in our landfills. I wish that we could ask the restaurants and eateries throughout our community to use paper instead of this that does not dissolve. Instead of building millions of dollars in our landfills, maybe we could save if we did do recycling and composting and using paper rather than the plastic that we see here. My major issue here is last year at the budget, one of your supervisors, Luis Barrera, came to the budget hearings and dissolved the spay and neuter program that Alice has set up to spay and neuter animals that are adopted from the city dog pound. The state has said that people that adopt dogs or cats from the city pound have 30 days to spay and neuter. And a lot of people cannot afford the cost of spaying and neutering. So Alice was very lovable and kind in having this program where we were paying for the spay and neuter program, and then it was decided at last year's budget, because on the advice of the supervisor at that time, or Luis Barrera, that they dissolved that program. I hope you would reinstate it so people can go out to the dog pound, adopt these animals, and instead of having a population of overflow of cats and dogs in our community, which we do have, and they're starving. Presently, I'm feeding about 6 dogs on Park Street that don't belong to anybody. And I've been told, I've been cameraed, people go by and take pictures of me, I guess so they can turn me in. But I don't feel that These dogs, it's not their fault that they're out there starving to death. Someone has to look after them. And, you know, it's either that or euthanizing them, and they're not rounded up, so we can't euthanize them. And it's not a good thing to do that. But if we had this program in, like we did in the past, I think it would help. If we could only allow as much money that goes into the parks and recreation as far as the golf, put some of that money into the spay and neuter program. As a taxpayer, I would appreciate that. And I thank you for your service, and I thank you for your time. And I'd like to end it by saying that the world is a dangerous place, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. And that was also Albert Einstein. Thank you for your time, and have a good day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Garcia. Okay, and that is our only citizen comment. Okay, announcements. Ms. Carrasco? Ms. Garza? Anything to say? No? Mr. Crystal? Ms. Ryan?
Yes, I have one announcement. I'd like to announce for the public, actually, and some maybe interested businesses. I received a call from Commissioner Gonzalez yesterday. They received a CDBG Community Development Block Grant in the amount of $300,000 to do the replacement of water lines on McMaster's Road. And part of the process is to go out for bids for businesses that may be interested in bidding for the trenching of the lines. She didn't receive any local bids, and I'm not sure why, but she wanted us to put the word out there that they're still accepting bids, and any business that's interested, please contact Commissioner Gonzalez in her office, and she'll explain the bidding process. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moran. Okay, council and everybody in the audience, today we're going to proceed with our budget workshop, and we'll be listening to municipal court first, and then we'll go into library, and then PD and fire department, and if time permits, grants today. Okay, so we'll start with municipal court. And moving on to agenda item number 3, review and discussion of 2016-2017 fiscal year revised city budget and 2017-2018 fiscal year proposed City of Alice budget. Do you want to come sit? So, council, we're on page 38.
Good morning, Mayor,
Good
Council,
morning.
members.
All by yourself today, Miss Joanne?
Always.
And Mayor, y'all can just give me some direction how y'all wish to proceed. Do you still want to go line item by line item, or
I think the way we've been doing it has worked, right,
is that
council?
okay with you?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I think it just took a while yesterday.
We do by groups, maybe?
Section.
By sections?
But y'all can, I think section will speed it up a little bit, but we can still ask the questions where we need to ask the
I
questions.
can,
That's how I
I
feel
can go
about it.
by, if that's what you're asking, I can go by the total on personnel services, and if there's a question or anything above there, then we can ask the question.
Perfect. That sounds good, Mr. Rose.
Okay, we can start with personnel services for municipal court. In 2017, we adopted 124,364. We revised it to $110,033, and we're requesting 89,364. There's a decrease there of 35,000. Joanne, if you want to explain that part of it.
She doesn't have the clerk. We didn't fund the other clerk.
No, I know, but I don't have those figures that you
I
just
don't
called
have
out.
those
That's not on my,
I don't have those figures either.
Which one is it?
on salaries, that's
Municipal court?
where you're on, right?
Yep.
Page
Requested
39.
Page 38, you understood?
Yeah, for the totals.
For the total
The
personnel.
totals.
Oh, let me see.
You're looking at the group total.
Oh, yeah, look right here.
That's not matching up.
The bottom, yeah.
Is
Did
that-
the same thing.
So the differential of 21,612.
Correct, they cut, one of my clerk positions has been cut. So I only have one clerk and myself, where we used to have 2 clerks and myself.
On that, the municipal court judge is under contract for the city. So do we know how much that contract is for, what we pay her?
Yes, it's, I believe it's 20,000 a year.
5632 is,
Oh, 56.
right?
Oh, I'm sorry, 37,200. I'm so sorry.
What is her salary only?
37.
Do you want to make sure?
Yeah.
Hold on real quick.
It's right here, 5632.
Yeah, that's hers.
37,200.
Okay, so that's hers at 37, okay, just double checking. So in addition, really, we pay that plus up here on personnel, if we want to
Yes.
be really clear.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just she's contract, she's not an actual.
Correct.
employee.
Plus the overtime, we cut the overtime
Okay.
also.
So we cut one clerk for you, Ms. Helmer?
Correct.
Okay. Council, any questions on personnel services? No questions? Okay.
Okay, your next section would be materials and supplies. And 2017, we adopted $2,207. We revised that to $2,311, and our requested amount is $2,207, which is the same amount. And this is for office supplies, wiring apparel, gasoline, repair and maintenance, and all the other items listed above.
What's your operating, Ms. Joanne? What falls under that? Operating supplies?
Our office supplies, like our
No, operating.
the operating, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The notices that we send out, we get them printed, and that's pretty much it, right? Is that all you show?
And that includes postage, mail out postage?
I believe so. I don't pay for that. I think it comes out from here, right? The postage. I don't know how y'all calculate that, but I don't see it on my budget.
It's not.
It actually just hits general service.
Oh, okay.
She just had courtesy notices
Yes.
and the notary stamp.
Okay.
That was all for this one.
Educate me a little bit, hon. What's the courtesy notice?
Okay, a courtesy notice is just a 3x5 card that we send out when someone misses court. We, just as a courtesy, will send it out, and they have 15 days from the date of that card to come in and take care of their citation. Plus, we have warrant cards also. They're 3x5. They were cheaper to send out than a letter, so we save on postage. That was there since I went over there to that position, but that's probably about it.
Yeah. So reminding them they didn't show up.
Right, that's the yellow courtesy card, and then the warrant card is a red one. That's just letting you know you already have a warrant.
Yeah.
for your-
Okay. Council, any questions?
The next section would be purchase property services, which includes your gas and electricity, repair and maintenance, equipment, copier lease, and so forth. 2017 was adopted was 2,500. We revised it to 2,750, and we're requesting 2,750. A $250 increase on that section.
That's probably your copier rentals?
The copier rental and our printers.
And it all went up the same rate that they went up downstairs. Well, contracting equipment.
Council, any other questions?
Is that not under copy of lease? Are we leasing?
It's a lease.
It's a lease, so we have.
We're gonna change it this next.
Yes,
Okay.
that's why we added that other little line item.
Okay.
We're just gonna move it down.
You're gonna see that through the rest of the budget. They're trying to identify it a little
Yes.
bit.
It's a
That's
work in
good.
progress.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Council, any other questions? Okay. Other purchase property?
Other purchase property, which includes your communications, travel expenses, and advertising. We adopted in 2017 $1,100. We revised it to $930, and we're requesting $500 for 2018.
What travel do we have for that?
You had mentioned the judge, right?
The judge, she attends a school or training every year.
Is that for the Hercule?
For her, yes, she has to have a certain amount of hours training, so that's her.
Any other questions, council? No? Okay, next, professional technical service.
Professional technical service, which includes your official administrative, your membership dues, professional licenses, municipal court judge salary, technical and registration and training. We adopted in 2017 $59,561. We revised that to $68,720. And we're requesting $57,450 in 2018.
Okay. Official and administrative, hun, why the big?
That's the collection agency, and actually, that washes itself out because the money that we pay the collection agency comes from the person that owes the citation. So it should,
I see it on the-
So we'll have a revenue item that basically counters it, but we're looking only at expenses right now.
right.
But is the ratio good these days? Like where, they're paying or they're not?
Are people paying, is that what you're asking?
What's our collection?
Ratio to, yeah.
Well,
Do you have some figures for us?
I do have, well, all I have is what the collection agency sent me.
And what agency is that?
It's Linebarger.
Linebarger?
Correct. We
We
have
have a
a,
contract with
we have a 3-year contract, and the contract will be up in 2018 already. They only take care of our warrants. They only collect on our warrants. So once a citation becomes a warrant, 90 days later, whatever is still outstanding, we forward it over to the collection agency. They're supposed to send out letters. I don't know how many letters they send out or who they send a letter out to. We, there in court, we also, once it becomes a warrant, we'll enter you into Omni. It's a state database which places a hold on your license. I feel that we get more response from the people that we put in Omni because you cannot renew your license. So we may not catch you like the first year, but the 3 or 4 years down the line, we see people coming in and starting to pay. I see a lot more response with that because I think with the collection agency, they'll get a letter and they probably just throw it.
So legally, do we need to do that step? Or can we go from you guys to this Omni?
We can go to Omni now. The collection agency, when you have a citation and it becomes a warrant, it's not just the fine that you pay. Like, let's say your ticket is $110. We add an additional $50 to that, so it's $150 now. Then we add a violate promise to appear, which is probably about another $200-300. So that $100 citation becomes a $300 or $400 ticket. If you don't come in 90 days and we send you to a collection agency, they add on an additional 30%.
And how much of that do we get? Of the 30?
Nothing.
So, could we entertain skipping that? What do you recommend in something like that? Since the contract's almost up, 2018.
But we don't pay anything unless they collect.
Correct.
So we're.
Well-
The 20,000 is.
That's just the budgeted amount, though. That's not
Right.
saying
So
that
how
we're
much
gonna
of
pay
that
it. They
we
might
pay?
collect
The
it.
city-
Last year, we only paid, well, we budget, at one point, it was only 9,700. Ended up going back to 2,100, but we only pay if they collect the $30.
Well, we don't know
No, we have to put.
as long as,
30%.
because the minute that it becomes a Linebarger case, it's classified as, Linebarger, right? So if somebody comes in and takes care of the citation or the warrant there at the court, Linebarger already knows, okay, they came in to pay. Now, I don't know if they sent out letters to that person. I don't know if Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
really don't
absolutely.
know what they do.
What exactly are they doing for a
Right.
budget of $20,000 a year?
It should be stated in their contract. Can we review their
Yeah, we need to
contract?
review
It
the
should be
contract.
specifics as to what they should be doing in terms of collections and how they'll be.
And then are they doing it?
And then the next question becomes, are they doing it? Or how much? What is the historical data we have? If we could review that to determine
Is it really
whether or
worth
not
us
do we want
investing in
to
that?
consider renewing the contract. I mean, I'd like to at least look at some historical data. I am concerned that we're not keeping the court informed as to the process or procedures.
Because you would think that they
they're
would
doing.
send a report monthly.
They do send me a report. I just got one for August.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, I don't know, like, let's say today. I send them a report today. I don't send it till the beginning of the month for the month before, or for the 3 months before. So if I send them a report today, and this person comes in today,
Mhm.
Linebarger's gonna get their 30%, even though, did they really have
They
time to
didn't
send
do
a letter
anything.
out or not?
Absolutely.
My concern is with the way the economy is right now, we have issues just trying to collect that $100 from a person.
Right.
Then you tack on an additional 30%, so that $100 becomes $700 that they owe.
Correct.
Sorry, I talk with my hands. You know, I think with the way the economy is and the people that we've been seeing in court, it's hard for them to pay that. And a 4-month payment plan becomes a 10-year or 20-year payment plan.
It takes longer to get our money.
Exactly.
So what other options are available to us, or are we currently doing to
We-
help? I know, like, City of Corpus Christi has the roundups, and then they
Right.
have the Wheel of Shame. I really think, I know you mentioned something, that the names are put out on our Facebook
Correct. When it becomes a warrant,
And the
yes.
newspaper too.
Yes.
paper. What about, I just feel our cable channel is so underutilized. I really feel we need to start focusing on utilizing our cable channel to not only inform the public about city business, but as well as other happenings around the city, including, when we're gonna do roundups. Do you see some success with the
Oh,
roundups,
yes.
Joanne? Talk to us
Yes.
a little bit about that process.
We have a warrant roundup, it's with the state, and it's in March, and we'll announce like in February. Well, the 2 weeks that we announce and that we accept payments prior to the actual warrant roundup, it's very successful. We see a lot of people coming in and taking care of their fines because they do not want to get picked up. So yes, it's very successful. We've been doing this, I've been there 7 years, we've probably been doing this for about 6 years. So it is very successful, it does help. We have one day that the officers will come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, the judge is there, prosecutor's there on a Saturday, and they'll go out and pick up, people that do have warrants. But the success is those 2 weeks that
Right.
we announce.
So
Yes.
why don't we have them more often?
We could, this is just something that we've just done like once a year with the state, but we could have one that doesn't involve the state.
And the reason I'm asking is, can you give me a ballpark figure of the uncollected amounts of fines that are outstanding?
For warrants alone, it's $443,368.
I'm sorry, what was that amount?
$443,368.71, and that's from all the warrants that we have on file, probably from 2006, because I think that's when they.
Encode?
Yes,
When
when
they got the
Encode.
software?
That's when we got the software, so that's up to August the 14th.
So all of these would go to Lineberger?
The majority of them have, just as long as they've been in warrant status for
During
90
the-
days.
So if y'all do the math, that's big.
That's a lot of money now. We used to have a warrant officer. When I first went over there, Ron Taylor was the warrant officer.
Right.
Then, and he was a dedicated municipal court warrant officer. Then he left, so then they put Sergeant Ascendis. And then when Sergeant Ascendis retired, we didn't have anybody, so the PD assigned someone to us. But the PD is shorthanded, So when they're shorthanded, they pull the warrant officer, and he's gotta work patrol.
Correct.
So we don't have a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, dedicated warrant officer that just dedicates his time to serving our warrants. So that's a huge,
Is this a contributing factor?
I
for
believe
the
so.
outstanding?
I believe so. A lot of people have moved too. Some of these warrants are kind of old. So we'll send them notices, we get the notices returned. Most people won't change their address, so it's kind of hard to locate them. The warrant roundup, though, we print all of the warrants that we have. We give them to the officers if they're here in town, and they'll go, door to door looking for them. But yeah, a lot of people have moved. A lot of people move from month to month.
Right, yeah.
John, it's 434.
Yes.
It's for, since when? For a period of,
From the beginning of, I ran it from 2000, from January the 1st of 2000, which the computer, everything is in the computer, but they didn't get Encode or software till 2006.
A municipal court is the only one who has Encode. We still have Spring.
Let me make sure I understand this correctly. Just to clarify, this amount is what we have in our books, 443,000, is that correct?
That's how much is outstanding in
And
warrants.
when we turn it over to Linebarger, the 30% is taken off of this
Right,
amount?
out of this amount,
Okay.
correct.
So,
But we don't know, I didn't run only Linebarger's warrants, so I'm not too sure. But, let me see, what are we?
They take it out of the amount, or they add it to this
I
amount?
was gonna say.
It's already added. This $443,000, there's already a 30% added to, I can't tell you how many of the warrants, because I didn't run.
But it is
I
added.
didn't break
but
it down,
So if
correct.
the warrant goes out for 300 and it goes to Lineberger, they're gonna add $90 to it.
Correct,
30%.
30%.
So they add it.
Correct, yes.
So if y'all do the math, it's like $1 million, am I correct? The
No, they-
30% from the 443,360?
What she's saying
No,
is
no,
it's
no,
already been
this is already including
It's like
30%,
130%.
whatever warrants are in Linebarger
So
status,
they're taken out.
correct.
Okay.
So
And the
that-
majority of these already are, with the exception of, July?
I guess what I'm trying to get at, I wanna make sure it's clear to the council that what, the citations that we have, the revenues are the exact amount, the 30% is being paid by the person who was cited.
That's correct,
Right, right.
yes. That 30% does not come from the city.
Right.
That's
But
why I
it's their
said
money.
that
That's not that-
it washes itself out, that 20,000 or 21,000. And that's just a ballpark figure. We don't know how much is actually gonna get collected.
Mhm. See, that's where
This
my
year.
concern is. I mean, bottom line, we're budgeting $20,000. We know we can use $20,000 somewhere else.
is what I'm
Like,
saying. It still goes in here.
part-time officer that goes and does
But-
warrants. I don't know.
Well,
if you
I've
don't
been
put that
trying to ask them to remove it because that's not accurate figure of my budget.
What's more accurate, Joanne?
Well, minus that 21,000.
You don't need that line item.
No, because it washes itself out. The city's not, it looks like the city's giving me
20,000.
20,000, but the city's not giving me 20,000. It washes itself out. Like you can see in 2016, 18,600 was what was
But there's
collected
a
or
revenue
paid.
item on the other side of this, when we talk revenues, that says 20,000 for,
How much do we pay them then? The
It
Lineberger?
just depends on how much the court
They
collects. Correct.
The percentage of the
The
collections.
contract is they tack on a 30%.
Right.
so when they get paid the 390 example that earlier, the 300 that the city said they were due, they get.
Right.
30% of that.
And then the 90, the 390 out of the 90 that they tacked on, they keep.
Right.
Correct.
And I think what Mr. Ramon's saying is if the citizen has a problem paying
Correct.
That's
just
the
that.
problem.
I think
Yes.
that's
They
our
get paid
problem.
first.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's our
Yes.
problem because
Right.
it's not so much that we invest in this because the money is a washout,
Right,
correct, for the city.
right, that's correct.
But your main concern is the citizens having a hard time paying it anyway.
Exactly.
So if we tack on this 30%,
Yes.
then it's more, so we may not even get $1 out of it.
Right.
Because they're like, I can't even afford that.
Right.
So food for
So
thought.
Now, that was just, the figure that I gave you for 443, that's just warrants.
Right.
Oh, there's some.
What else? What are we missing?
Fine, regular fines, outstanding fines.
4,017,102,37. That's
fine.
in outstanding fines, that's not including the warrants.
So, 1017132.
4017, 102, 37.
102.
Correct.
Wow, that's a
lot of money.
lot of money.
Can you explain the outstanding fines? Can you define that?
When did this one start, Joanne? I'm sorry, 2000
I'm
also?
sorry?
2000, did you pull it for 2000 or when is this?
This is, yes, 2000 up till August the 14th,
Okay.
through August the 14th. Yeah.
Okay, okay, go ahead, I'm so sorry.
Those are just outstanding citations that people haven't paid. We have
Like ordinance violations or?
everything. All the citations, like somebody got a ticket back in 2006. They did a payment plan. Payment plans are only for 4 months. And here we are 17 years later and they still can't pay it. They still can't pay that ticket or pay it off. Or you owe $6,000 and your payments are only $50 a month. You're never going to finish paying $6,000, you know, and so we're never going to see the money. I believe our collection efforts are good. I mean, we have been doing good. We send out letters constantly. We do show causes, meaning, or a summons. If you haven't shown up to court or you haven't made a payment, the judge will sign off on a summons. We get the warrant officer to go hand deliver it to you and serve you, and then you have to show up in court. But if you don't show up, there's really not very much that we do after that. So
On the flip side, do you have what we have collected?
Don't
Don't do that to give it some retrospect.
did I do that? I actually broke it down by budget year, beginning from 2006, 2007, but I didn't add them up.
That's okay, you can just give it to us like that.
Okay, so in 2000, our collection have gone up from before I got there to after I got there. So in 2006, 2007, they collected $34,054.25, and this is money. 2007, 2008, they collected $280,457.06. 2008, 2009, $246,008.59. 2009, 2010, $383,602.40. 2010, 2011, $611,285.15. 2011, 2012, $464,514.12.
What was that, 264?
2011, 2012, it's $464,514.12. 2012, 2013, $612,638.90. 2013, 2014, $593,621.45. 14, 15, $566,411.45. 15, 16, it's $515,331.81. And then 2016 through August the 14th, we've collected so far $415,649.92. Considering the way the economy is right now, we're still collecting
Yeah.
really, really good.
I kept expecting it to take a bigger jump.
No, like I said, our collection efforts, just with us there in the court, we constantly send out letters, do show causes, do summons, now with our prosecutor, they're really good about, collecting, and let's do a payment plan. If you don't, I want to see you in 3 months. If you haven't paid, I want to see you in 3 months. So the contact with that person that owes the fine is constant. It's every 3 months. I want to, make sure that you're making your payments every 3 months, or doing community service. Community service is another option. If they cannot pay, they'll do work for the city. So we'll assign them to the water plant, the sewer plant, Parks and Rec, to help out, clean the parks or what, I don't know.
And Joanne, and is that the full amount that we keep, or was
No.
that some of it does go to the state?
Correct. Some of it does go to the state.
I know what we're doing, we're like, wait a minute.
I know. No. Thanks for saying that, Vanessa, but
That's
it's,
we
Do we
actually,
actually?
it's true.
right, the state takes the bulk of it, I just.
Exactly, and she did the figures more than.
Well,
Yep.
we do collect, we do keep the full amount that goes to municipal court revenue and warrant revenue. But on the other line items, like for the quarter ending June 30th, 2017, we collected $39,805. Of that, we paid $37,406 to the state. So
So we got to keep $2,000.
Oh my God.
it's like the state gets like 94%.
Yes,
It's a
as long
totally
as,
different picture.
correct. It does sound good, like she's saying, with the revenue, but what we keep is not very much.
Sounds like we need to go talk to the state. Change this.
Can you give us a percentage?
Well-
Do you know what the percentage is?
It sounds like
I figured the state got
5%.
about like 94% and we kept about 6.
Yeah, 5, 6.
True. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people are probably out there saying, wow, that's a lot of money.
Okay, so what is that classified as, or what, I mean, because that's actually I'm sure a bill or something. So what, like, I know they're the state, they have the right, but what is their clause to take that? It has to be written somewhere as a bill, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how things.
Added fees.
That's a tax that we have to pay. We pay the controller we do a quarterly report.
And they send
they
us a
tell us-
statement.
Very minimal that
But-
we receive.
They tell
You
us
have
how
to
much is
report your
owed.
funds.
Please tell me we only have to pay that tax on what's collected, not on what
Oh,
we find.
yes,
Yes. It's only, no, it's only on what's collected, yes, yes,
They have reporting, responsibilities that they have to fill out.
yes.
Reports, and in there, they're reporting the amounts collected, and
Right.
from there, the state turns back and
Yes.
sends you a nice little letter saying, oh, you gotta give us 94% of that.
Correct. We do a monthly report, and we forward it to the Office of Court Administration, so every month, it shows how much was collected, how much is gonna go to the state, and how much is gonna stay with the city.
What do they call it, Joanne? Like, what do they call that?
The monthly
State-
report?
No, but like, when
Oh, it's just a
It's
quarterly,
like quarterly municipal court costs and fees or something
Right.
like that.
So
and I have a copy of it.
out of the
Oh,
4
okay.
million that's outstanding current fines only, we get about 5% of that.
Probably.
Yeah, if we were to collect all of it.
If we were to collect every penny of it,
Yeah.
we're gonna end up with, what is that, about 20?
It's not worth the time. This point, I mean,
It's not.
the time and energy of our staff and all
200
that.
grand?
Wow,
Yes,
That's not where the majority of revenues come from.
yeah.
it's true.
Now,
But it is
I
some.
did-
It is some.
It is
is
some,
some.
I mean,
Every bit matters, but
Yes.
Oh,
it's just,
yes.
these are the way things change us when people see something like that, and then you send, people to go fight for these rights that are
Right.
state right, it goes above our level,
I,
but there's people that do that.
And we're doing all the work?
Yeah.
exactly.
Everything.
But that's my job. I mean,
Yeah.
that's our job to collect, someone got a citation
that's our
and our
money.
job.
Yeah.
This is where lobbyists.
But for
do
the
things
month,
like
if we
this.
only, if we collected 40,000, we only retain 2,000 of it, it doesn't pay
Pay
your job
your
salary.
clerical,
Well,
Yeah, even for the one person that's their only job is to do
What was the
that.
municipal court revenue though? Because we do keep the municipal court revenue and I think the warrant revenue
Yeah.
for like that
It
quarter.
was like 200 and.
Yeah. Well, I know there's, you
For
said
the
there's
year,
other revenues,
yeah.
but I'm just saying,
How
in this
much was it?
particular thing, our guys issue the
For
tickets.
municipal court revenue, what
Our
we have
responses.
budgeted, or
Well, just for like that quarter,
percentages.
Yeah, how much, a breakdown, can we get a breakdown?
April through June.
It's in our,
It's like
yeah.
35, the line item is I think 3,500 and then 3,501.
Yeah, I wanna say it was.
And that's just actual for the year.
But that's only fines.
Correct, that's
We
not
keep
including the
warrants.
warrants.
But we
Right.
keep warrants, or is this the same token for warrants? Do we send the state?
We keep the
We
warrant
keep the
revenue.
warrant.
We keep all of the warrant money?
So there's more bang for your buck there. Now, what I was gonna ask on the warrant,
Municipal court revenue is accounted for 235,000, or 232 was revised in 2017.
See, if you look at the revenues, like 3502 through 3528
Yes.
those are all fees. That's why you see
If
very
council,
little.
if y'all go to page
because
8,
Most of that goes to the
Mhm.
state.
If y'all see page 8, this is where our
That's the breakdown
revenue
of
is.
fees.
Yes, ma'am.
You said it's at 3,500?
Yes.
Yes.
Under fines and
Yes.
Warrant revenue accounts for 29,000.
It's budgeted at 29, and then if you expense, it's that 20,000. So that's that line item that'll wash out.
Right, right, so really 9,000 is what.
it's,
Well, no,
We're
I think
hoping
there's
for
an
that.
election agency case, you see that, 3529.
See, and then there's the revenue, the offset revenue there, the very last
Oh,
one.
yeah.
The offset revenue that offsets the
That expense.
20,000 expense.
Right now, looking at that, Ms. Dublin, what is the failure to appear charge? How much do we charge for that?
If you, around 200, I can't give you an exact figure, but it's probably about 198.
We probably just don't collect much of it,
No, we do, because that's part of the warrant.
because it's only showing
That's the first one that gets added on.
6,437 a year.
Well, that's why I need to go tell them. Do you want me to go call them?
That's all right, guys.
Where are you looking?
Page 8, it's
Page
on,
8, it's on revenues.
on the revenue section.
Oh, she doesn't have
I don't have.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to look at mine?
I just saw that.
Here on the fee schedule, it's $174.
170.
115 is the fine
Right.
cost,
What
and then
the paying.
59 for the court cost is what it has on the
Okay.
fee schedule.
So only about 37 people a year end up paying it.
well, my
For
question
people
on the
on-
warrant, and I don't know, this is probably directed more, but I guess you guys work hand in hand to Mr. Rex Ramon. But, you only have one assigned warrant officer, is that
Correct.
Okay. But technically, aren't all the police officers, can't they serve as warrant officers?
They can, but I mean, they'll arrest somebody, like if they happen to stop you and they check to see if you have warrants, yeah, they'll arrest them.
But can, like, when they're on their routes, can they
Exactly.
go to a house and, you know, like, maybe in the morning dispatch says, you know, this is your bunch, this is your bunch.
Correct.
Since you'll be in this area, this is what we need to do.
Right.
Would that be feasible?
In other words, what I'm saying is in the morning.
It can be
Give an
done.
officer
Mhm.
5 warrants and let him go
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, because the more time that goes on, it's the more time that you're risking it's not gonna happen.
Right.
right. So that maybe that's.
That's a great idea, Mr.
That's, well, I've been trying to do that because when, we've done that before, where they would give out the warrants, like you said, you know, to this officer in this area and that other officer or whatever, but I don't know what their calls are like on a daily basis, you know, I don't know.
something for the chief.
Are
to
they
address for the chief.
shorthanded?
Mhm.
Right, I really don't, I can't
Yeah.
speak
Can't
on his
speak for him.
behalf,
Right.
right?
Yeah, no, we can coordinate. so.
Yes.
That's right, we're jumping the gun. We're municipal court. I'm sticking you in PD, sorry, Joanne.
It's okay. I used to work there, but yeah.
Okay, any questions, council?
I did, I'm sorry, going back over here to professional services, what professional services did you use that we're eliminating? And the same question for technical services.
Oh, the technical, that was the in code. Usually, some of the fees that they pay with their
Yes.
tickets, some of the money gets designated to a security fund and a technology fund. And usually she was able to, with her technology fund, to pay the full cost of in-code software. And this year they were just, they were short. So the city paid for half. But usually with her fees, she would pay for her software by herself.
So we just shifted that fee over to a different fund?
A different fund pays it. I believe it's Fund 9, the
Yes.
technology fund.
Correct.
When they
Which
pay
makes
tickets,
sense.
some of it gets allocated to these two funds.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Very good.
And then again, the other professional services was,
The other-
looks like we allotted
Maybe it was
2,000, but it's
just-
never been used.
I think it was
That's-
just
In case?
That's,
And we just took it out.
Okay.
No, that's in case the judge
Oh.
happens to recuse herself from a case because she can't hear it
Oh,
for
yes.
some reason. Then we have to get, yes, another judge, so we have to pay their cost.
But this time we didn't.
No, we haven't had that, so, but we
Okay.
just put it in there just in case.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know.
And this year, we're not putting it
We're
in.
not putting it in.
Oh, I didn't put it in this
This
year?
will be the,
It's not in there.
and this will be the first year it happens.
That it
I know, because I think the last time we had that was probably about 2-3 years ago, maybe?
Maybe. You want me to
It's
put
not
it
in there,
back
Miss
in?
Joanne.
Okay, well, hopefully we won't have it. We won't need it.
Okay.
Well, you're actually under budget. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of dollar amount are we talking about?
So
We
it's
would
2
put
grand.
2,000.
We just put 2,000 just in
Yeah.
case, and I think the last time we only used like 400 or 500, the last time we had a visiting judge.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We were trying to balance our budget.
Yes.
So,
Let's show up and revise the next.
okay.
No more there.
Any other questions, council?
Nope.
No? Okay. All right, moving on to the next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ramon.
for
Thank
your
you very
time.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Go round up some warrants for us.
I'll try. Thank you.
Good morning.
What are we getting on next?
It's
It begins on page 81.
Page 81. Okay. Mr. Ramos?
Yes, ma'am. On page 81,
Mr. Ramos,
yes, sir.
before we start, can we address the cover page and just say if there are any changes to personnel so that when we
Yeah,
look
that's a
at
good
it,
point.
we have it, we know it before we just get started?
That's a good point.
Great idea.
And Yolanda, actually, Bueno's in charge of the library, actually, and she does a few other jobs too that are, she's a good resource to have. Do you want to address if there are any changes on page 80, Vanessa or Yolanda?
The only change maybe was that extra part-timer, but that the county had,
Okay, I can address that. From 2014, we went from 2018 to 4 employees to 7 employees back in 2014 for a difference of $145,000, $341. Here within the next couple of months, I'm going to start working at our Fremont Library and doing some cleaning. And I spoke to Judge Trevino, and he has requested an additional $10,000 so that we could have 2 part-time people in Fremont and stay open all day. The way he explained it to me is their budget goes from January to December. So as soon as we find out if that goes through, I was in his office and he called the auditor and said, put $10,000 more. The county does give us $50,000 a year, and that is something they give us monthly. It's divided into 12 months.
12 months.
And that's for how many libraries?
That's Alice, Fremont, and Orange Grove.
3 libraries, 50,000 a year.
Mhm.
So 4,166 a month.
Well, and then they pledged the extra 10,000. So now it'll be
Yes, they're-
60,000.
But the extra 10 is for the part-time person, so that we can open that Fremont Library full-time for the community.
So about 16.6 ends up here? Or is it just kind of like wherever it's needed? Because you said it was for 3 libraries, 50,000 for 3 libraries.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets
Yeah.
split.
So So 16,000 is really.
Yeah, 16,666.
Oh, it doesn't technically get split, divided by 3. For instance, when we get books, probably like a fourth go to Fremont. And we, in Orange Grove, their public library is with the school district at the high school. So that's where the community goes. And we support them with just reference books and not 14,000 or 16,000 worth of.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Over at the Fremont Library.
We actually pay though for, like, I was gonna say, I think it's maybe just to help cover costs because we do pay for their electricity, for their
In
internet.
Fremont?
Mhm.
In
I believe-
Fremont?
Who pays for that? City of Alice?
Maybe not the electricity, but I think we pay for the cable, like
Cable
the internet.
and internet.
In Fremont.
I really would like to know what we pay for Orange Grove Library and Fremont Library.
I don't think we pay for anything for the Orange Grove Library.
It's at the school.
Okay.
But the Fremont, I know we pay Time Warner
We pay the Time Warner, the phone and the cable and
and
the
J employee. I
the
think.
employee, like, those are expenses. But
Cable.
the
Not
county.
electricity?
I don't think
No,
so.
ma'am.
I'm
And
sorry.
The
Sorry, it's not
insurance
like-
part of it, the groundskeeping, the trash, the janitorial supplies, that's all paid by the county.
Okay. But through this fund that they give us or separately?
Separately.
Oh, great, okay. Okay. Grounds.
So, but those part-time employees for Fremont actually fall into your budget.
Yes, and you'll see that under extra help.
But that's also the 10,000 that was picked up by the county.
The additional,
The
yes, sir.
additional, okay.
And the additional is for, so that we can open that library at least 8 hours a day, between 2 part-timers,
Okay.
instead of 1 full-timer.
That's Fremont. Okay.
And that'll fall under the extra help category here coming up.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Do we see anything like directly paid to us for the Alice Library from county? Like is that?
Well, just that check that we, but, and it just comes to us and we deposit it.
Goes to the general fund.
That's
Mhm. It goes into the general fund.
the 50,000.
And that check does come in like clockwork.
Yes.
It's just,
I'm not doubting that he pays it. I'm just. Okay.
Well, I guess what
Okay.
I'd like to see is just a breakdown of what expenses are actually not our facility.
maybe we could break that out like a separate program and maybe that would be like Fremont Library. You know what I mean? So you can see
Yeah.
just
So we
the
can,
costs.
yeah, so we can see exactly what is external to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that 50,000,
Covers it.
well, now 60 is gonna cover everything that falls into that category because, again, we weigh the
Yeah.
burden, hopefully there's leftover.
Right, I understand.
Hopefully there's leftover that actually assists our local library.
That's in the
Right.
county.
Yes.
Yeah, I
can
would.
work on that.
I
Okay.
would like to see
Thank
that.
you.
Because it's in here again in the front. Let me see. Oh no, it's just Jim Wells County Library. Would they be, this is just throwing it out there. Like if we said county takes care of their own libraries, how do you feel about that?
There was there's an agreement, and I know I've seen it around the library. I can pull it out and we can start reviewing it.
Okay. I've just always wondered that. Because our library, and we can wait till we move on.
Okay.
Any questions on that part, council? Okay, so we go to personnel service on page 82.
This requested budget is 152,000 less than 2016 adopted, and 63,000 less than 2017 adopted, just FYI.
Okay.
So personnel,
Personnel services, which is salaries and extra help, FICA, TMRs and so forth. 2017 adopted was 270,859. Our revised is 242,095, and we're requesting 212,572, which is a decrease of 58,287.
And what's the decrease? Because we didn't let go of employees, did we?
We didn't fill the children's programmer, and then we did not fill the custodian. So we have somebody from Parks that comes over, and then anything custodian related in the afternoon, we take care of it.
Is that for this year's budget, or was that a previous?
That is probably half of this year's and all of next year's.
No custodian and no children's programmer. So, Ms. Bueno, we have one director, one reference librarian, and 3 clerks in Alice?
In Alice, it's 2 clerks.
But there's 2 part-time, so it added up to 1. But I can split that out.
Yeah.
That's where it might be.
Oh,
So-
okay, for next year, yes.
Sorry.
So 1 director, 1 reference librarian, and 2 clerks.
Mhm.
Right, okay. Can you explain the difference between a director and a reference librarian?
The reference librarian is, she's a certified librarian through the state, and that's what she did. And as a director, I'm just in charge of the operations of mostly Alice and Fremont, because the Orange Grove is, kind of the school district. For instance, in the children's programming, I will be doing a lot of that. We're not actually going to have programs, but what I'm doing is I'm making folders to where there's kids there. I can just call them over and say, let's learn the continents and stuff like that. Because it's hard to do programs because there's 4 of us there with vacations and sick, and it's difficult. For instance, today, someone is helping us out over there because I'm over here. We always want to have at least 2 people there, just for, safety purposes.
Yolanda, what's the
Yes, ma'am.
purpose of closing the library on Saturday?
This was done about 3 years ago because of the budget cuts and the overtime. It was an overtime, opening from 6 to 8 and stuff like that. I did, if we want to open the library again, it would be difficult without having additional personnel.
Do we really need 2 people? Is it that dangerous?
Yes.
Okay, tell me why.
Oh, I'll let her talk.
Like times, I mean, I know some of the concerns, but if you can reiterate, because, for the general public, 2 people at a library, tell me, I want to hear it.
We get a lot of people passing through. What I used to do is I used to go, and I still do sometimes, to the 4 corners to see who's walking through the city. I have seen a man in fatigues carrying a machete. We have had people come in and one particular, and we did have a police report on it, and this happened 2 weeks ago, left urine on the keyboards that we had to clean up, and we think it's urine, but we don't know. People come in with backpacks, and we don't know what's in there. There's, people talking loud. We have to tell them, not too loud. Just a few examples. And it's not always. It's just,
Yeah, because like in retail business, you deal with that too, and you just can't forecast somebody going wild in anywhere. And I just feel that the community would be better served if we reconsidered maybe certain times of the day where there's 2 people. The way I do in business, like certain peak times, I do have 2 people or 3 people, whatever it calls for. But at other times, and you would be the one to know because you're there to know what times are more popular when they drop off the halfway house guys, what day, because I know that was an issue. And I was in there one day, and I could see that there was, and that's where I'm going. Does PD need to have some kind of presence? Not obviously all the time, but like do walkthroughs when they're in the area, just kind of walk through.
We have a code with PD where we could call, not dispatch, but the non-emergency number, and we just say walk through. and they'll just come in
Yeah.
and just walk around and then leave.
Yeah, because I think if presents like that, we could utilize these people a little bit better to serve our community a little better. I've had a lot of complaints as well. You know, it's closed early, not open on Saturdays, and some of our kids can't afford, you know,
Right.
and they have sports during the week, and Saturday would be the day to go in, and I'm not okay with that. You know, where we can't service our community due to fear. You know, we fear, you know, walking out, and we can't predict these awful cases that y'all do go through.
It's not the walking out, it's, you know, yeah.
How much, have you done a cost analysis of closing one day and perhaps considering a different day to close?
I had-
Because on Saturdays, kids are out of school, and that's probably, have you
Yeah.
been able to maybe?
We would,
What it
I
would
had
cost?
thought that we could, since there's 4 of us, we can do 2 weekends each, maybe from 12 to 4, and close the whole day on Wednesday, because we're closing half a day just to catch up on reading the shelves and calling overdues and stuff like that. But then you know, one person calls in or something happens on that Saturday with the person that's scheduled to work. So we're talking about that also, see what we could do.
You're closed on Wednesday?
Half a day on Wednesdays. I'm sorry, yes, Wednesdays,
Current schedule is what?
9 to 6.
Monday, Tuesday.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, 9 to 1.
So you're closed half a day, and you're closed on Saturdays
Mhm.
also.
It's a day and a half.
So perhaps looking at just one day closed, maybe not your busiest day. For example, some businesses, because they are open on Saturdays, don't open on Mondays.
Like the hairdressers. They have, that's their,
Are y'all really that busy at 9 in the morning, like 9 to 10?
at 9 in the morning, sometimes we are. We are,
Because I would rather see it later, like till 7 versus 9 to service our school kids that have practices and can't afford a computer.
yeah, and I've stayed late with some kids before. You know, I see that they're working, they're in the children's area. We average about 176 people a day. This is what we were averaging last week.
Do you have a breakdown of hours or no?
No,
No.
no.
How about visually? Like, do you really see like 9 to 10? You know, because business is open at 10, so if we took out that 9.
The retail, yeah,
Are
we
we-
could go 10 to 7.
Are we taking care of those transients at 9 so that they can wash up at 9? I'm being honest, because I know that's what happens to y'all. And I don't think we should service
People want
that.
AC.
Yes, we do have a lot of citizens that just come in for that.
But 10 o'clock, is it? I mean,
Depends
to
what
service the kids that are actually using the library for a library, not for a wash station or AC.
Right.
Because Walmart's open.
I always say-
Yes, and on the weekend, they're at Walmart.
I'm just calling it how it is. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm here about the kids, and we're not servicing our kids, and we're college students, and you know, if they have to go to air condition or wash up, then Walmart's open for business. Okay, go ahead, Ms.
Let me
Brand.
just ask, is this discussion regarding days open and possibly, if you can come back with some numbers that show open, you know, Monday through Saturday,
A
perhaps?
proposed schedule?
And cost.
Well, the cost would probably be the same if we go 10 to 7, 5 days a week and off, or close like Sunday and Monday,
Okay.
because it's just the four staff members,
But including Monday open. What would be the
including Monday.
cost? Going
Monday
back
through
to the
Saturday.
regular hours that the library used to be open all week long, including Saturday.
Okay.
What was that budget like?
That was probably some overtime, is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Especially
How about
with the
taking out
reduced
that
staff.
those
Why would it
two
be open?
people at the same time, like splitting their schedules, perhaps? That's what I do when I save money at business. I split schedules, and we may have to go to one and
Why are
ask
we
for
doing
PD's
o-
help
Yeah, why are we doing overtime when you could split them on Saturdays?
because of the
And
safety
full
issue
time.
that there's so there's always two people. So that takes a lot of hours.
But if they're not working during the week, work them on Saturday.
Well, because I think somebody just asked Monday through Saturday.
That's what
Yeah.
Ms. Moran is.
But you're paying overtime. What I'm saying is you can't have, why can't you have someone that you don't have to pay the overtime on Saturday?
Whoever works on Saturday is off on Monday.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. In other words,
Yeah.
split it towards 40 hours and 40 hours. I think.
Exactly.
Like working the schedule different, I
Work
think
your
it's just a
schedule out
whole
differently.
different approach to the schedule. And then entertaining the idea if you feel that that would be right. you
It's
know.
just, yeah, I understand. It's just, it's
Perhaps looking at
just,
the fee schedules to that's why I want some numbers. If we have to look at, when we discuss the fee schedules.
Because bottom line, we're looking at personnel requested 212,572 on just personnel, and then non-personnel is 96,375 is what we're requesting. So that's where I'm just like, oh, we need to possibly work the schedule differently. And I understand I do. I mean, I've worked my businesses by myself, and I'm like, oh, there's the guy with a Texas tattoo on the side of his face again. But, you know, I can't run my business and stay in business, you know, with that. And I understand, but you have PD right there that you can say, hey, you know, try to do a walkthrough in the morning, the afternoon. Because once they start seeing presence, they're going to get it. They're going to get it. Because I did sit there and see something a little shady that one day, and I'm like, what are they doing? I understand. I do understand.
And my concern is not directed to your department as an individually. It's just an overall concern on behalf of the taxpayers. This is a quality of life service that we provide. I mean, we burden our citizens with taxes. One of the things they expect is that we provide quality of life services to them. And for us to close because we may have concerns or budgets or I think that even in the utility department, I have concerns that we're closing, you know, to accommodate something that maybe we should have been on top of to begin with, and instead we're inconveniencing our citizens. So I think we need to get a better handle on
See what you can
scheduling.
work
I
out
understand. Yes, ma'am.
We'll look at it.
for Saturday at least, you know.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Some of those kids, they need to get out there.
And have access to, on their days off, have access to the library, especially those who don't have access to internet service.
Yes.
So
Yes, ma'am.
maybe you can come back with some numbers for us, Yolanda?
I'll come back with some proposals.
Yeah, and then maybe to accommodate that, maybe some are you proposing fee schedules? Increases?
I did propose one on the ILL items. We're charging 75 cents, and it's actually costing $3 for postage, so that's,
You gotta bring that up.
that's, yeah.
How
Yeah.
many,
Might want to look at that as well.
Yolanda, how many computers do you have out there?
We have 25,
Oh, my goodness.
and they get a lot of use.
They do?
And we help everybody, and, you know, now you have to apply for jobs online, and,
Right.
and
See, that's
people.
what I mean, like on Saturdays,
Mhm.
students from Kingsville
The
or students
unemployed
here.
Individuals.
People
Get
come
out
in,
there and all that.
a lot of people just come in to check email, and you just assume everybody's going around with their smartphone,
Yeah.
and that's not the case.
And unfortunately, you know, we can't be choosy as to who we allow. It is a public service, and we are open to the public.
We help everybody.
Just work out something, Yolanda, and see what
I'll bring
you can come
something
up with.
for you guys. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Any other personnel questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Bueno, do you know if we would be allowed to have some kind of a volunteer program or anything like that?
We have tried. Volunteers usually show up once, and then they don't come back. But we have tried. We've had volunteers do programs, and it falls apart within the second or third time.
How about with the school? They have this program that the kids actually go out to the schools. What's the name? PALS, right?
Is that the one you're talking, the high
Yes.
school kids?
Yes, the high school kids, and they go out to the schools. I wonder if we could put the library in the little realm.
Rotation?
Yeah. Dr. Charles
That's
is super.
a high school club, right?
Yes,
And they
ma'am.
go to the elementary schools
Yes.
and they.
And they read
the
and
little
they, so
ones.
they could possibly do, because they're already doing it. So if we go into the rotation as a library, Dr. Charles is excellent about working with the city, and I don't have any doubt that she would totally be on board with it. So that might be
We'll look into that,
to reach out,
definitely.
yeah, so that we don't not have our children's program and be consistent with it.
And I know
Great
that
idea,
the
Cynthia.
Workforce Solutions has also approached the city at one point to offer. They have a program where they're trying to place some of their individuals, recipients of some of the programs that they offer, and they have approached the city in the past and offered to put, and they pay for these individuals because they want to teach them a work skill. They're on a work skill program, and they are looking for businesses, or they approached the city at one time. I'm not sure why they were turned down.
I've spoken to them already. That's the Texas Workforce
Oh, okay.
Commission. I know Ken Trevino over there. I've actually given the number to several of them. They'll do it for a 12-week period.
Mr.
And-
Ken's in there now?
Yes,
Oh,
he's the
really?
director.
So that's
Awesome.
another avenue.
Yes.
And I just remind you for all volunteers just to keep the logs because we do have to turn it into TMO.
Right.
But that might be
Yes,
an
it is.
avenue for us to pursue, Yolanda. Or the
Absolutely.
city as a whole. We'll speak to
Absolutely.
Ms. Diana about that, because I know
That's awesome.
Ms. Chandra out there talked to me about this program, and for whatever reason, the city chose not to accept it. So San Diego took them up on their offer. So
I
maybe-
believe if we work it out, we can probably get a new person every 12 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
That would work.
That's
It's about
awesome.
working with the schools, the counties, and our community college to combine and collaborate our resources.
Yep.
So let's look
Yeah,
at that.
it's gonna take creative thinking
Yeah.
how to, balance his budgets.
Right.
Roland, we're very creative, you know that.
Is
Well,
that,
we're gonna
have
get
you
more
had
creative.
experience with the workforce?
Yes,
Mr. So
yes,
have you
ma'am.
utilized them?
We have.
Okay, so you're familiar with the
good.
program. Great, I'm so glad to hear
So
that.
he can assist.
If we can get somebody, then the scheduling would be so much easier to
Right,
stay open till
absolutely.
7 on the 6 days.
I'm sure we can visit, we'll talk to Diana and have her visit with Ms. Chandra out there.
Very good. Any other questions on personnel, council? No? Great ideas. Okay, moving on to materials and supplies.
Materials and supplies, which includes your office supplies, repairs and maintenance, operating supplies, book subscriptions, minor equipments, tools. 2017 adopted was 38,550. The revised is 36,397. And we're requesting 36,700, which is a decrease of 1,850.
What subscriptions hit us? Just curious on that one.
Let's get to that. The newspapers, the magazines, the Polk directories, the almanacs, the College Blue Book, Biography Yearbook, Short Story Index, Current Biography, Monthly, the college, these are all standing orders. We have identified some of these reference books that we could possibly skip this year to save or to cut the budget by $2,800. That's something we'll be proposing to cut that by that amount. And those are all just reference books.
So you're up to date with books and all that?
Yes, ma'am. And I can talk a little bit more about that on the books part of it.
So your subscriptions, you're possibly considering cutting that back to 2,800 instead of?
By 20.
By 28.
By 28.
That would include the College Blue Book that we purchased 3, one for each library, and that's costing $2,053 a year. So we think that perhaps we could skip a year or two. The Chase calendar of events is $80. The Short Story Index, it's a book you can go to and look up an author, and it'll tell you all the short stories.
But you can do that online,
Mhm. And the core collection book, this is the book that libraries get once a year that tells you what your core collection should be. And kind of like what one of your questions. So we feel that we can do without those for a couple of years.
And then since y'all share, what you get for one, you don't really need for the other because y'all can share like certain things, so.
The college blue books were the only ones that we were
Buying
purchasing
three
through, and that's
sets, okay.
the 2053.
Okay. Very good. And so books is 24,000. That's part of all of these, Ms. Bueno? Yes. Okay. So cutting these out, we're still at 24,000?
That was from subscriptions.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Talk to us about books.
Yes, we have lease plans and that's where we get, say the new releases, we'll get, 20 copies of them, and we'll send some to Fremont, and then we get to keep one, and then we send the other ones back because we're going to keep that one in rotation after a certain amount of time, because we don't need the 5, copies of the new release. This is also in this budget item. We have ILL, which we can get books from other libraries in the state.
Oh, yeah.
So we send them back and forth. And unfortunately, we had to, they weren't returned back to us. So we had to pay Laredo Public Library and McAllen and Fort Worth for books that weren't returned back to us from patrons. So that, some of that expense will be that, not too much. We had 3 book orders. This 24, or a little bit less, included around 1370 books, and we have 1 order pending.
Do we need that other order?
1,370 books, or what?
1,370. I'm sorry.
Books.
And that's an order already coming?
This is what we have ordered so far in the year, and then we have 1 order, our last order that went out. This amount also can be, okay, because that'll be our 4th order. We can do perhaps 3 orders next year, and that would be about $3,000, $4,000.
Cut.
That is something that can be cut as well.
That last order she's referencing was about $4,000.
Yeah.
Pending order?
Mhm.
And we need that order, I guess?
It's on its way.
But that's for this year's budget.
Yes.
Okay.
She's saying for
Not
next
not
year,
next
we
year's
could-
budget.
We can
Nick.
cut next.
It's next year?
Yes, for next year. It's for the requested. I'm sorry, requested.
So we can cut, instead of the 4, you're saying we go down to 3?
Book orders,
Uh-huh.
around $4,000 from the 24,000.
But that's next year's budget.
Yes,
Mhm.
next year's.
That's what we're trying to
So
shoot.
cut four grand out of next year's.
Plus the 28 from the subscriptions.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So how do you determine your book orders?
Requests and new releases. And sometimes we have to say we don't get the books back, and we have to replace them because it's, you want your core at the library. Your, say, the Game of Thrones, it doesn't come back, so the book order will include a replacement.
And maybe this is a subscription. Do we belong to any of the, the loaner programs where you can access it online? Most colleges, universities, and libraries are on these loaner programs where instead of buying them, you can put in a code and access it from another, from San Antonio, UTSA, or other universities. Have you ever explored that?
Like an e-reader, or they actually send you the book?
You actually can download that book
Mhm.
if the city belongs to part of that loaner
Oh, okay.
database. You can access the book that way.
And then if somebody wants to read it, they use one of our public computers?
Or they can, all they have to do is have an access number that the library gives them, and they can read it at home and stuff.
On their Nook or,
A lot of students can do their research at home. Once the library closes, they can continue to do their research because you belong to part of that database that shares.
right, I
Share
believe
your-
we do have that. And that'll be in the technical,
In the what?
in the,
Technical services.
yeah, technical,
We're good there.
17, 7. Oh, yeah.
On the,
So that's a
Yeah,
neat.
because for
mhm.
example, you're doing a research paper and there's your local library and your local archives, newspaper archives is very limited. And so you want to do the archives from the San Antonio Express News, who has a lot of data.
oh, I see.
And so
I
you
see.
can access
Yeah.
through, if we belong to that program, where all we do is use our access number, and we can access our archives, things like that. And
We-
you don't
we
have
do
to
have-
order that book.
we do have something like
especially,
that.
You know, so you
That's,
don't have to order the book or.
That's a database.
Which one?
Is it under subscriptions? That's what I was
TechShare?
asking.
Is that it, Yolanda?
I believe so.
So for example.
Yes, that one.
you
The
know,
Texas State Library Archive.
Yes,
Yes.
we do have that.
Okay. So what is the cost for us to,
$772.24, and that looks like it's an annual.
annual fee?
Mhm.
That's,
Yeah.
and see, that's something, you know, that, maybe utilize that a little more, if you want to cut back on some of the books and stuff.
Now, I'm gonna jump back a little bit. Under operating supplies, that includes your postage and so forth for that, what's that one, that the book sharing
The
program?
ILL?
What did you, say it again?
No, interlibrary loan, ILL we call it.
Okay, okay.
The postage actually hits a different department. It hits the 101-105, the general service.
Okay, under general
And-
service.
And we have a postage machine and we just fill it.
But you said that that's a bill to the other library? Or who gets that 75-cent thing that you said?
We get it, it goes into a deposit to the general fund. And then, but when we go for the postage, it's like $3.
Yeah.
But the postage, we don't have that expense here because it all goes to the postage account. like
But that's
a-
something we're looking at too.
Oh, yeah, that's something we need to
There's a lot of
in
little
our fee
things that we're
schedules.
trying to make more
Clear.
Because-
Yeah, postage is one of them.
There's actually a grant that you can apply for that pays you for every interlibrary. It pays you for the postage basically.
It's a
state
reimbursement
program. But you can't charge any of
Oh.
the lent.
But if you get a grant, then it doesn't, yeah, that's
And
awesome.
it said in 2016, they actually gave $7 per loan to, that's what they reimbursed.
Wow.
Wow.
So you make some money.
Do you know what grant that is?
It's through TESLAC, it's an interlibrary loan.
Is it an interlibrary?
Yeah.
Have you looked at that?
Can you
Yolanda?
look at that, Yolanda? What was it called again, hon?
Teslac?
Tess?
And we do probably around 1,100 a year,
That's my next question, was about how many.
In grants?
Yeah,
the
1,100.
ILL.
Oh,
The
Is that
actual
out
borrowing.
and in, or is that just out? Like, is that books that you're.
We get
loan-
more in, we get more in.
You get more in than you lend out?
Yes, yes.
1,100 a year, right? Okay.
Wow, that's it. Look, and that
That-
right
that
there,
would be
even
a
if it's
good-
just the $3, that's 3,300 bucks versus losing
Mm-hmm.
$2,250.
And she brought that up, so we're working on that one also.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be good.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions, council, on materials and supplies? We don't have copiers in there.
Yes, we do.
And we charge?
We charge 15 cents for a black and white copy or a printout from their email or the internet, and 25 cents for a copy or a printout in color.
Okay.
You said 25 for color?
That's correct.
And 15 for black and white.
Mhm.
And they pay at the reference desk?
Mhm. That's circulation, yes.
Yeah.
So they can't purchase, we don't have the capacity to have them just put money into a card and just stick that card in there and use up? No.
Mhm.
But when I was there the other day, I saw somebody come in and make some copies and
I wonder where
pay
that,
right then and there.
how that's
Yeah.
labeled. Do y'all know? Is it just library fines?
I think.
Like her revenue?
I think it's a
Okay.
copy.
A copy?
Something.
I'll have to look at their revenue summary though to see.
We do have library fines on there. Ms. Moran, is that what you were asking? The library fines on page 8? The revenue is about 5,000.
I just wondered, I mean.
Like a
it
breakdown?
kind of,
I'll
helps
have to
you
look.
guys.
I'm not sure if the copy charge is just for library or like information requests also. It might be both. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Oh, on your line item?
I think fines would be fines. I think,
library funds.
yeah, I don't think that would be
I think that's for your, like, when they're late turning in books.
late
right?
turning in books.
Mm-hmm.
And replacement books if they're lost.
I guess I kind of would like to see just how much revenue the library
Brings in.
brings in and,
And we can look at that because they turn in their own separate
Deposit.
deposits. So we could just look at that, something like that.
and then that way we can see if we're missing something, you know, that we
Mhm.
could charge for or.
It had been suggested that, we charge for the use of the conference room. I don't know if y'all would be open to that.
How often is it used?
Not very often, but sometimes we do have attorneys that do depositions, and we had somebody from the university the other day do something with the reading and stuff like that. I don't know.
That's a possibility. Because other people charge for rental rooms. We charge at the multi-use. We charge at the golf course.
Wanda, do y'all have like programs for children, you know, story time and?
We have the Families Reading Together program, which is every Thursday where they read probably about 6 or 7 books, plus they do a craft, plus a little game or something. But as I was speaking earlier, I'm going to have, I have a place to sit out there so that at least in the afternoons or whenever I see kids hanging around, a lot of times the parents are on the computer and the kids are kind of, so I can bring the kids in and I have a little table, a short table, bring them in, and I'm preparing just different lesson plans, and I bought some stuff at Target, workbooks and flashcards and stuff like that, so that anytime there is a little kid there.
That will entertain
Yes.
our work.
Yes.
How often do y'all utilize, and I might be way out of line, but that just brought to my thinking, the instruments outside. Do y'all do like things?
We, this coming year, it's something we're going to do because the summer program for next year, the statewide summer program has to do with music. So we're going to incorporate the families reading together, some music in there, and to where they actually, and we've done it before, we've taken them out there, the whole group, to go on the instruments. The instruments it's really for, you don't really read music, but we have taken them out there before. And then I've seen people using them at night. And they're not, the Mom's Day Out, they used to bring the kids every Tuesday or Thursday or something like that. They would walk across and come over.
That's the ones that are out next.
Yes.
I would like
That
to
was
see
more
like
art.
in the
Huh?
fall.
I
Yeah.
thought that was art.
No, they function. Yeah.
Please go by
Yeah.
and use them. They're
Bang
they're
on.
neat.
That's why I was
Yes.
thinking like in the
Bang on.
fall that might be a cool, like, how do y'all, because you did a little puppet show, and I got it like last minute, and I thought, oh, we should have put that out on Facebook or something, because that was really a cool thing. But I was in meetings and I couldn't share, and
Actually saw it after the first one had already happened.
yeah,
I got the
me
email
too.
to go to the
The
second one. I was like,
So, do y'all utilize social media? Like,
We
to
have,
do?
we have a Facebook, Alicia Salinas, City Valles Library. We put
Are
stuff
y'all
out there
active,
daily.
or you- daily?
Daily.
Okay.
Mhm.
I need to, I guess, like
It's
it.
hard out there, you know, like.
no.
No,
is
no,
that
it
posted
functions.
on the city's website as
What
well?
is posted?
Anything that the library does? How
Like the
you
puppet
guys
show and
connect?
stuff like that, do you post?
Oh,
Facebook?
I don't think we did. I don't think, no, but.
Yeah, it was, those little art things were, the instruments were a controversial thing, but they're utilized. The kids are actually out there using them. I've driven by there several times and seen them being played and
But I think-
enjoyed, so it's a good deal. And the paddles have lasted a lot longer than I thought they were gonna
We
last.
lost one, so I reordered. They sent it free, and they sent me an extra one, so we have.
Oh, good.
we-
Yeah. No,
But
it's-
that would be neat, like on that note, just
But we
to-
lost
to
the first one
utilize
right
it.
away. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
But to put it
Um,
out there like in advance, and that way it shows that we are utilizing, because I know that that was a little controversial.
We've seen, or I've seen moms with the strollers, and they play for the babies.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's, but I invite all of y'all to go use
Let's
it. You'll
do-
like it.
Consider maybe a November Thanksgiving
Like a little event.
Native
Mhm.
American event out there.
Festival.
Do like a
Blessing
history
the
type.
pilgrims and the Native
We'll
Americans.
dress
fall-
like,
a fall.
we'll dress like pilgrims and all that.
Fall,
But
a
they're
fall
not-
festival.
Fall festival.
Like a fall festival. Yeah, that would be a fun,
But-
just to kind of bring.
We do some Christmas things also, and.
Oh, yeah, that's nice too.
You know, I think we had an Easter egg hunt for, like, during families reading together.
Because we do need, you like, the last time I drove by and the grass was high, and I'm like, why is the grass high? Like, that's, we need.
Our grounds have improved by 100%, if you guys
Yes.
recall.
We just need to work on the city grounds. With all the beautiful flowers and landscaping we had here. Forgot to water the grass.
Eric does a great job over there. Eric Ruggerberg.
It does
You
look
guys
good.
probably know him from the muck.
Yes,
He
yes, he's
has
awesome.
been able to fix all of our water leaks from the sprinkler system,
Good.
plus a valve, and we've been he
Great employee.
he does a really good job. And then anytime I walk back and forth, if I see some litter, and we pick it up and try to keep it up, because there had been numerous complaints, and I have a file that I had kept on the
Mr.
grounds.
Eric over here.
Any other questions, council, on materials and supplies? No?
I just look forward to seeing those, the.
Instruments.
Those, drop, the subscription reductions
Yes.
when you propose those ideas, so. thank you.
I have their numbers and our accountant that we have with them, so I can do that right away. Because this is something that, it's like automatic standing order, so we'll take care of that right away.
Very good. Okay. Purchase property services.
Purchase property services, which is gas and electricity, vehicle repairs, equipment hire and rentals. We adopted in 2017 $32,700. We revised that to $37,194, and we're requesting $28,400, which is a $4,300 decrease.
Looks like y'all
Looks like-
shifted vehicle maintenance to building maintenance?
Yes,
because
they don't have any units.
I was like, yeah, I didn't know if it was for something to travel back and forth to Fremont or what
We
have you.
actually, I am requesting to get a vehicle to travel back and forth so that we don't have a travel expense, but we have a vehicle. So we might put, we're getting a little bit of gas money, and the police department might help us out. If not, I'm gonna check with the sheriff's department so that we can
What
have.
you could do also, sometimes we have a unit in administration and we'll just, we'll borrow it. It's not something
Check it
that
out.
we always,
Yeah.
like finance
Use.
doesn't always
Right.
need.
Because you don't go that often, correct?
Or ask
I'm gonna start
Judge.
going.
Oh, that's
I'm
right, you
gonna
just
start.
said, you just said
We
you were
want
gonna
to.
start.
I want to build up that library a little bit.
Have you asked Judge to see if he would help out?
I have not, but I did. That's my next step. Oh, mira, there he is.
Oh, you're gonna take care of it? Okay, he's on record. He's gonna take care of it, Miss Bueno. Thank you. That's awesome. Very good. We appreciate that.
And I will kind of tell you what we have in the building maintenance. We had to remove some ceiling tiles and replace tiles. We had a smoke detector service call, the filter change that is every 3 months, as well as the alarm monitoring and fire alarm, burglar alarm. We had to remove some live wires from the ceiling. Yes. Neff's Plumbing came out twice on backups, and CAW came out once on to clean the drain line on the air conditioner.
Okay. Any questions, council? Okay. Move on to other purchase property.
Other purchase property, communications and travel expenses. 2017 adopted 13,900. Revised was 13,400. Requested 13,500, which is a reduction of $400.
Communications, can you tell us what's in that?
Yes, that's our telephone and the cable and phone for Fremont, the internet service for Fremont, and our internet service. I also found another $720 from there, which would be my city cell phone. The library director traditionally has never had one. I tried to give it back last year. That's something I can certainly do. There's really no reason for the library director to have a city cell phone.
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
How much was it?
$720, about
$720? That's almost $1,000. We appreciate that, Ms. Bueno. Okay.
This is an altered question in regards to something that the last council put forward. G-Tech was going to come in and start supplying us with the internet. I know that we had some internet charges here. They're going to actually come across and do an internet and an intranet across the board. Has any of that moved?
I know Jim's not here, right, of course. I've asked him, they have already put it on certain locations and he's testing it to see if it can, I guess, I don't understand all the terminology, if it's strong enough to,
There's enough bandwidth.
yes, okay, see, I don't know all the lingo. And if so, they want to utilize that and cancel some of the other services that we have. But I believe, I know it was just last week that he was setting another one out at the airport. I think he's testing them right now, but I know they're working on that.
Okay, yeah, because that was, essentially that came out to a $3,500 a month saving across the board for the better part of 7 years. So that's a significant hit also. And, when you said internet, it made me think
And
about that.
you'll notice there are some departments where I think there was a savings because now we're getting that free service on a few of them from G-Tech where they gave us those. But
And we also have our grant department that's going to start working on the E-rate application.
yeah, that's something they used to get in the past, and was it the state would give them some money back to pay for the internet?
There's a
costs.
charge on your cell phone bill, whatever it is, they take that money and they spread it among schools and libraries.
And what's that grant called?
It's E-rate.
E-rate?
E-rate.
I think we had just missed the opportunity for this year, but we started on it to get that money for
So we're
next
going to
year.
get that going.
That's almost a given. The schools take
Yes.
advantage of that one.
Yes.
Good. We need to also.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's a good program.
Yes, it's a given.
That's
That's right.
internet service, right?
Mhm.
That's
But
good.
it would only be for the library.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
We'll take
But
it.
still, yeah.
Very good. Okay. Communication accounts for a lot across the board. 130,448 about.
So,
And that's probably something we need to Okay, council, any other questions on purchase property, travel? What's the travel for, Ms. Bueno?
The back and forth to Fremont.
Okay.
However, we will probably change that to gasoline.
To fuel.
Okay.
Fuel, I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Gasoline, we're gonna change it, right? Sorry.
That's
changing
that's
everything.
awesome.
It says
Yeah.
fuel? Okay.
Because it's real fuzzy.
Oh, they're doing a lot of stuff that is going to be so much easier for us.
Yes. I'm excited to see that change. Very good. Okay, any other questions, council, on purchase property? No? Okay, professional technical service.
Okay. You want me kind of to read what we have that way?
Yeah, that'd be great, because technical's such a huge.
We have the Texas State Library, the 772, and that is a software for databases, e-resources, like you were talking about, e-books. There's like a legal component, home improvement, medical, art, where you look up articles and can get that done. The Deep Freeze, that is your Pharonics, is a program that to where you cannot change the settings in the public computers.
Yes, okay.
So that is for $585.
But that covers all 25-plus computers that we have
Yes,
in
sir.
the facility.
And that's a year.
So,
Yes, that's all our public
All
computers.
including the other libraries, or just out?
Yes, it includes, that's for everything, yes. The iBoss Network Security is a program that filters,
content.
yes, as well as YouTube and Facebook, because they use a lot of the broadband. So that's something that we have to filter. Some of the library corporation is the cataloging software. So we bring books into the system with the little codes, and that's how we check them out. The library solution software, which is the circulation software. And printer support, and the quick scan is the barcoding. And that's all goes to the library corporation, and that's the $14,000. And that's something that comes out at the beginning of the year.
Which one was that, barcoding? 14,000 was what?
The quick scan, the 14,000 was everything I just mentioned, from the cataloging software, circulation software, the printer support, the barcode scanners, and the software for Fremont as well as for Alice.
14,000. Did we already mention, right, that we kind of want an itemized of what goes to Fremont and Orchard? Okay, okay.
And I know it's hard on things like that, where it's 14,000 that covers X number of them, but, just just an
Yeah, an
estimate. And
estimate.
that way we can figure out, like I said, just to make sure that we're covering ourselves. So,
I know. And we're looking through them, and it's like, what is this for? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, we need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we need it.
And it's true. I mean,
That's,
a lot of it is needed,
I
yeah.
bet that's the hard part, is a lot of it. And what you offer, like Ms. Yolanda said, was, this is a quality of life deal. So, a lot of this stuff, we need it because we want it, but we need it. We need to offer it. So, yeah. So, it's good.
But then it's quality of life, so
Yeah,
that's
that's why it changes it from a want to a need.
Right.
Right. And that's why we can do without it,
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
some of those reference and phones and whatnot.
Right.
Okay. Question, Mrs. Carrasco?
Ms. Bueno, on those individual invoices, there were invoices, right, that you were going over right now?
Those
Yes,
purchase orders.
these are our requisitions.
Are there any that we can negotiate? Are there any companies that
I
offer
have,
those services?
when
that
I
we
was
could-
paying some of these, I called Jim and I said, get us some better rates. Because if there's a vendor for this, there's 20 vendors. So I have asked him to get us and to look for other, something that we can save on. You're welcome.
Any other questions, council? No? Capital outlay?
No capital outlay.
Okay.
So that brings our 2018 requested to $308,947, and that's a decrease of $63,062.
Plus the other stuff we talked about, that hopefully they can work that in.
Awesome, okay, very good.
The bottom portion of it, I guess, that's the summer reading grant.
Well,
Oh, yes.
It was a combination though, but we are separating it. That's another item. The library does receive donations too. So what we would do is we would track their donations, and then they would have like a summer reading program. They would get some, a grant. And we used to just expense it here. So it was a combination of both, but we are going to split it out between like expenses that, that were paid with donations, and then expenses that were with a grant.
And some of those donations are, someone gets copies and there's a 5 cent,
Oh.
and there's like, keep it. So you'll see a lot of 5, 10, 25 cents.
And then you do get some large ones too, so, well, not large, like $100. I think it's large compared to 5 cents.
Yes, we had one $100 donation, yes. And then, so they keep track of it, and so when we expense those, it goes to the 50.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna,
We're gonna change that
cleaner.
around. Yeah.
What, 50?
To donation.
Well, yeah, we're gonna separate them kind of.
What's the grant, what's the
Yes.
donation? Right.
The Pride Club of Fremont, they just gave $300 but for Fremont.
Nice.
So they do the deposit and then
It
just
goes-
kind of keep a tally.
That's good. That's very nice. Council, any other questions for Ms. Bueno? Library? No library questions?
Just get us some numbers, Yolanda, on what we discussed about cost, library hours, scheduling.
Hopefully, if we can get some
Workforce.
that would work.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Bueno.
You're welcome.
Okay, the time is 11:50. Would council want to go ahead and recess for lunch at this time and then start after lunch? Okay. PD and FD.
And grants.
We're going to try.
Yes,
Good time?
They did ask, we did have a request if we could do PD first and then
Okay.
fire. Is that okay?
That's fine if council agrees. We're good.
1 o'clock.
And since they're here.
We'll work. Well, I just saw Chief walking by.
Okay. So the time is now after, at 1 o'clock? Okay. Thank you. So the time is 11:51. We'll now take a recess to reconvene at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
I'm just gonna leave my stuff here.
Yeah.